On a quiet, snow-covered street in a small American town, an elderly man lived alone. James, now 70 years old, spent most of his days in a house that once echoed with laughter, his children's, his wife's, but those sounds had long faded. He stood by the window again today, watching the snowfall outside. Each falling snowflake reminded him of someone dear: his son, who had moved to another state with his family, his daughter, who now lives far away in England, and most of all, the grandchildren, whose bright little voices used to fill his heart with joy. Every year, as Christmas approached, James waited by the phone, hoping to hear the words, "Dad, we're coming this year." But this year, like the last, he heard the same tired excuse: "Dad, work is hectic. We really can't make it." James tried to smile, tried to sound cheerful, but his eyes betrayed him. Even when the phone rang, the conversations were short, too short. "Dad, is everything okay? All right, we'll talk later. I have to get back to work." Before he could say much, the line would go quiet again, as if his words, his stories, his presence no longer fit into their busy lives. More than once he had thought about traveling to see them himself, but each time he was met with the same reply: "Dad, please don't. You'll only tire yourself out." The tone was kind, but it carried something sharp, something that made him feel fragile, as if he were becoming a burden. He glanced at the photo of his wife, Alice. She had passed away 2 years before. The children came for only 2 days, rushing through their grief before returning to their own worlds. The house had never felt emptier than on those days. Now, even the television seemed tired, offering no comfort. The radio murmured faintly, but the sounds felt hollow, distant. James sat in his armchair, his wife's knitting basket still resting in the corner, the grandchildren's old toys tucked away on a shelf, and let the silence settle around him. But even in that silence, he held on to something small, something fragile yet unbroken: hope. Every morning he would stand by the window, watching the snow drift down from the pale sky, and whisper to himself, "Maybe one day, maybe one Christmas, they'll come again." The snow continued to fall, soft and steady, and while the world outside grew colder, the quiet glimmer of hope in James's heart remained, light as a snowflake, but far more enduring.